All right, excuse me. Chapter 2, Section 3, Part 1, Solving Multi-Step Equations. So what is the solution of 5 equals 5m minus 23 plus 2m? These are ones that we can combine like terms. We talked about like terms. Remember the exponents have to be the same on the variables, but variables have to be the same. So if I'm combining like terms, I have m's that I have to combine, and I have on. And combining like terms is always just on one side of the equal sign. So here's my equal sign. Is there anything I can combine? So it says step 1, combine like terms. So I'm going to rewrite this equation. 5 equals, I have 5 m's and 2 more m's. So that would be like 5 x's, 3, 4, and then there's 2 more. So altogether we have 7m minus 23. Now it says step 2, circle the variable and anything attached to the variable. That m is attached to the variable, so I'm going to circle it. Then it says step 3, undo what's not in the circle. Well, that 23 isn't in the circle. How do I undo 23? Minus 23, I add 23. So I'm going to add 23. And when I do that, I have 23 plus 5, which is 28, equals 7m. And that 7m means 7 times n. So to undo a multiplication, I have to do division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 7. Those two cancel out. We have m on the right. And 28 divided by 7 is 4. So our answer is m equals 4. Check our answer. What does that mean? We're going to take that 4 and plug it back in and see if it works. So if I plug that back in, I have 5 equals 5 times 4 minus 23 plus 2 times 4. So let's give it a try. We have 5 equals 5 times 4 is 20 minus 23 plus 2 times 4 is 8. 20 minus 23 is negative 3 plus 8. We still have the equals 5 on that side. So this would be 5 equals negative 3 plus 8 is 5. And our check is good. So we know that we did this right. So that was our check answer step. Let's try another one. What's the solution of 11m minus 8 minus 6m equals 22? Again, I'm going to combine my like terms. I have 6m and another, excuse me, I did not quite circle everything if you notice. This all goes together. So I could rewrite this as 11m minus 6m minus 8 equals 22. And now 11 m's, and you take 6 away, so I am left with 5m minus 8 equals 22. And to solve, I have to undo the addition or subtraction first, so I have to add 8 to get rid of that. My goal is to get the m's by themselves. So far I still have 5 m's equals 28 plus 2 is 30. I have to divide those 30 up among my 5 m's. So let's get rid of the 5. We have m equals 6. Check it. We plug it back in. I'm actually going to plug it in to this one, our slightly simplified version, because we've already combined the like terms. So I'm going to put 5 times 6 minus 8. The question is that 22? 5 times 6 is 30 minus 8. Is that 22? 22 is 22. So our check worked. That means the 6 was right. Here again, I want you to try this one, come up with a solution, and we'll check it when we check your notes. To distribute or not to distribute. So we've done some distribution. Remember, this means how many groups, and this is what the groups are. Or we did 8 times 3 plus 8 times x plus 8 times 3. You know, we talked about order of operations, but once you know those really well, we can kind of do things in different orders. If this number, the how many of what group do I need, and the number on the other side, if the 16 in this case is divisible by 8, I'm going to do that first and get rid of it. Just like when we had, if we had 8x equals 16, the way I would undo that 8 is divide by 8. I can do that here. So in this case, if I divided both sides by 8, actually, let's first do it without dividing by 8. Sorry, my eraser is not working for a change. If I were going to do it without dividing, I would have to distribute. So 8 times x plus 8 times 3 equals 16. 8 times x is just 8x plus 24 equals 16. I would need to subtract the 24. I'm going to move that down for a second to get rid of that. And you get 8x equals 16 positive. So if you're on a number line, I'm at 16. Here's 0. And I've got to subtract 24. So I'm going that way. That's 16 of them. And then let's see, if I get down to negative 10, that would be 26 of them. So I don't need to quite go there. I'm going to go to negative 8. So that would be 16, subtract 24, and you're going to get negative 8. Now I'm still not quite done because I have to get x by itself, so I would divide both sides by 8 now. And so we would have x equals negative 1. Otherwise, we can do it this way. Start out right away. I'm going to get rid of this 8 right away. These cancel out, and we have just x plus 3. And now that there's nothing on the outside of the parentheses, I don't need them. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Subtract 3, subtract 3. X equals negative 1. See, right there it works perfectly well. So I look at this number and this number. Does 8 go into 22 evenly? No, so I'm going to distribute. I look at this number, this number. Does 3 go into 9 evenly? Yes, I'm going to divide. So this one I'm going to distribute. That I'm going to divide. So let's look at the one I pushed out of the way. Hold on. This one, 14 is not divisible by 3. So I'm going to distribute. This one, 12 is divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide. This one, 2 is divisible by 2. So I will divide. So if the thing on the right-hand side of your equation is divisible by your number that you're going to distribute, I would just divide right away, and it makes it simpler. So let's try this one. What's the solution of this? First, I'm going to look. Negative 8, 36. 8 doesn't go into 36 evenly. So it says first distribute the negative 8. So I'm going to have negative 8 times 2x. And then I'm going to have, this all goes together, negative 8 times negative 1 equals 36. That's negative 8, whoops, sorry. That's negative 16x plus 8 equals 36. Do I have any like terms? In this case, I do not have any like terms. Circle my variable and what's attached to it. That's my variable and what's attached to it. And then it says undo what's not in the circle. So I'm going to undo plus 8. Get negative 16x equals 28. And next step, I have to get rid of that negative 16. So I'm going to divide by negative 16. I don't want to just get rid of 16. I want that negative gone from that side too, because I just want to know what x is. So on this side, those cancel out. I'm just left with x. But on here, I'm left with 28 divided by negative 16, which is not a perfect whole number. But I can reduce it because they're both divisible by 2 at least. So if I divide them both by 2, I'd get x equals 14 over negative, because 28 divided by 2 is 14. Negative 16 divided by 2 is 8. Hey, look at that. They're both still divisible by 2. So I'm going to get x equals 14 divided by 2, 7. Negative 8 divided by 2, negative 4. And my answer is x equals 7 divided by negative 4. We would go back and check our answer from that by plugging it back in. Let's try another one together. This time, 3 does go into 18, so I'm going to divide this one by 3. Then that's gone over here. 18 divided by 3 is 6, equals 2x minus 6. Remember, you can get rid of the parentheses. I'm going to circle my x and what's attached to it and undo the stuff that's further away. So I'm going to add 6. And I get 12 equals 2x. How do I undo the multiplication? I divide. And you get 6 equals x. You could plug it back in to check and make sure your answer is correct. You do this one and find the solution. First, look to see if the numbers are divisible before you decide if you're going to distribute. And that is all.